Hi, my name is Blake Reed. My audience members are Michael Rossi,
Hello there.
Haley Reed,
Hi.
and Ashley Worthington.
Hi.
And my specific purpose statement is to persuade my audience that the death penalty should be legal everywhere. According to listverse.com, Larry Griffin was executed in 1995, but after an investigation that was conducted in 2005, they found evidence that proved that he was actually innocent. The death penalty is becoming abolished in more places around the world, but there are still many states in the U.S. and many countries around the world that still use the death penalty and have yet to abolish it. The first reason that the death penalty should be legal everywhere is because the death penalty has claimed innocent lives. According to AmnestyUSA.org, 140 people have been released from death rows around the U.S. due to evidence that showed that they were innocent. A lot of people haven't been that lucky and were not found innocent until after they had already been executed. One of these cases is Cameron Willingham, who was put to death in 2004 after he was convicted of starting a fire that ended up killing 3 children. But they later found out that the fire was actually an accident, so they executed him for no reason. The second reason the death penalty should be abolished everywhere is because the death penalty is not a deterrent. According to deathpenaltyinfo.org, in 2011, the murder rate was lower in states that did not have the death penalty than in states that did enforce the death penalty. Also, 4 out of the top 10 countries with the highest crime rate use the death penalty, which shows that the death penalty does not always stop crime. According to NewYorkTimes.com, in 2000, 10 of the 12 states without the death penalty had homicide rates below the national average. And another reason that the death penalty should be abolished is because the death penalty is really expensive. The death penalty is actually much more expensive than life without parole. According to deathpenalty.org, the cost of trying a death penalty case is $1.25 million more than trying a case that results in life without parole. And they also say that life without parole is worse than the death penalty because you have to spend your whole entire life in jail instead of getting the easy way out and just dying a few years in. Another reason the death penalty should be abolished is because the people never get a chance to change their lives. If you get life without parole, you have a lot of time to think about it, and you might get the chance to turn your life around and live right, even if you don't get a chance to get out of prison. You can still influence people's lives while you're in prison. The death penalty should be legal everywhere because it claims innocent lives and is not a deterrent for crime, so there's really no reason to put people to death because it doesn't influence people not to murder or not to commit other crimes, because regardless of the death penalty, they're still going to commit the crimes if they want to. According to a story by BBC.com, there was a guy named Andrew Chan that went to smuggle drugs into Indonesia 10 years ago when he was still a teenager. And Indonesia has really harsh drug laws, and he was put to death. He was sentenced to death, and he has spent the last 10 years in prison. And he actually changed his life and got saved, and he has led Bible studies and been a huge influence to people, and they tried to get him life without parole instead of put him to death, but he was actually put to death a few days ago. And that really changed my perspective on the death penalty, and I think that if you can change your life and turn your life around, then you should get life without parole instead of the death penalty, because you can change other murderers or other criminals' lives while you're in prison. He also had a buddy named Murrin, who was also convicted as part of the Ballet Nine that was from Australia, that was another drug smuggler, and he got put to death a few days ago with him. And in those 10 years they were both in prison together, they changed lives of many people, and he became an artist and sold his art around prison and got people to sell it outside and influenced many people's lives. But he was put to death. So all that influence is gone, and those people don't have those guys to lean on while they're in prison. And I used to be a huge supporter of the death penalty, and I found this story online, and it really changed my mind. It really shows that you can't judge a book by its cover, and you don't know why they're doing this. You don't know why they killed somebody or smuggled drugs because they might have just needed the money or they might have just made a mistake. And it has really influenced me to change my outlook on the death penalty. And I think you should look into it. And I think the death penalty should be abolished everywhere. And people should get another chance at life instead of just getting put to death and not getting a chance to prove themselves. Thank you.